Seek to Speak.
I'm a very foresighted person. And what I mean by that is when I have a goal, I never really just have like a vague goal and like just not plan out the journey. I always plan out the journey. So if I have a goal, I will like reverse engineer it and I will find out like what is it that I have to do before this step. So if this, then that, right? So let's take a pragmatic example. Flight cycle instructor. Okay, I'm a flight cycle instructor. And so I really figured out like why would I want to be a flight cycle instructor, right? What were the steps for me to get there in order for me to be confident and have the skills to do it? So I really anchored it down to a couple of reasons why I wanted to do it. First, you guys probably can relate to this is that if nobody forces you or nobody holds you accountable in getting fit and like, exercising and all that, sometimes we get away with it and we're like, oh, okay, it's okay, I'm not gonna work out this week. And then week on week, you just don't end up working out, right? So I thought to myself, if I became a flight cycle instructor, I would have no choice but to do it, right? So I broke it down. So how will I get there? So first thing is, let me go and speak to a couple of instructors, find out how they got started, right? And then I will choose, oh, this like three people that said that they started this way, those were effective and I'm going to do that. So they started going to more and more classes. One person said, do 10 classes before you became instructor, do 50, do 70. So I found a middle ground and I was like, okay, I'll do like, 15 classes before I get started. So once I did a 15, then I went up to the head of instructor and I started asking him a lot of questions about getting stronger. What kind of workout should I be doing, right? What kind of nutrition should I be getting? How do you even coordinate the songs? What were you doing? So I wrote all of those things down and then I went for the audition. So the audition is a 6 weeks process. If it was 6 weeks while I was doing my MBA, I really have to break down how am I going to juggle 3-hour trainings 4 times a week for 6 weeks, which is quite insane, yeah. And plus I was doing my MBA, which has like a lot of assignments and it was just insane. So I had to work all of those backwards. So it's almost like I saw the blueprint, I worked out the entire blueprint, and then I sat down and I thought to myself, okay, I have the blueprint now, I have the formula, am I going to do it? So it's like being foresighted, writing down everything, and then only deciding, am I going to do it? I think what happens with a lot of us is we have a vague goal, and then we don't know what it takes to do it. So sometimes it's good to say like take it one step at a time. But when you take it one step at a time, you're almost committing to like the first 10 steps without knowing what's the next 90 steps, right? So what happens in our mind is that, see, for me is that I know what the exact 100 steps were. So this 100 steps is all it takes for me to be a flight cycle instructor, for example, right? But if you take it one step at a time, you've done the first 10 steps and you don't know what's the 90 steps to go, you will be very reluctant to stop, even though you like it or don't like it. Why? Because you've already put in the first 10 steps and there's this sunk cost bias. So sunk cost bias is really real. It's almost like you've put in so much effort and you're like, oh yeah, but I already started. Never mind, let's just go with it. Let's just finish it. Let's just go through the 90 steps. Even though you really didn't want it. You didn't get to see the full picture before you started. But because you've already started, you've convinced yourself that I just have to keep going, right? I think that's the danger of like taking it step by step versus seeing the goal, breaking it down, reverse engineering it, and then deciding, do you want to do it, right? Maybe giving you another example. Maybe some of you really want to be an actress, okay? Let's say you want to be an actress. And it sounds fancy, right? So you know, like, okay, these are like some of the key steps that I will have to take to become an actress. But you didn't really go and find out that like the nitty-gritty bits of actually becoming an actress, right? Speak to some actress. How's the social media like? How's social media life like? Do you like it being in that spotlight? Do you have the ability to kind of manage like negative feedback? Do you want to deal with that for the rest of your life? How will your friends view you? Do you have friends that can support you? Do you have a good support system? There's so many questions that you can ask. And then once you put it on that blueprint, you're like, okay, I really want to do this. Then you do it, right? Which I don't think happens with a lot of people. So maybe that's kind of why when I commit to something, I kind of go all out. I don't stop and I don't regret. I rarely regret my decisions.
Seek to speak.